valid. So it was all part of that Stalingrad defense thing. Try everything to keep me in the place till I can get my pension in September. Unabashedly just defending some really bad calls she's made. And that is just the nature of the politics in this South Africa, the impunity. You think you can get away with stuff? And you do, too often. How can we stop the South Africa that we know in its tracks and create a country that is better for all of us? That is what we are engaging in the first half of this last hour. The United Independent Movement of South Africa, Mr. Neil de Beer, joins us in the studio. We're going to talk about the Moonshot Pact, and the UIM will weigh in. We're also going to talk about the truck attacks, and that after 11:30. Some of the things taking us to 12 on Views and News. Welcome back. 8 minutes past 11 o'clock. My name is Clarence, with you through till 12. You're welcome, of course, to wade into the conversation and be part of the conversation with Neil de Beer. Specifically, the numbers via WhatsApp is 0725671567. That's the WhatsApp number. Your calls are 021-446-0567. Welcome, Neil de Beer. It's good to have you.
Very good morning, Clarence and your listeners. Good to see you. I'm still hanging in.
Yeah, no, I've still got a lot of life left, Neil. I'm not going to give up. They're going to probably carry me out here
I'm with you.
in a box. United Independent Movement, I see you wearing a president top.
Absolutely.
Is that your position?
That is my position. Sometimes you don't need the position, you just need to lead if you are chosen to lead.
Yeah.
But today I'm leading.
No, that's great. We need leaders. We need leaders who take responsibility and accountability for their actions. Do you?
Yes, absolutely. I'm not a career politician. I entered politics because of need, not want.
You know, the politicians are also getting older, and I'm saying, yes, man, when you guys going to hand over?
Well, I'm 54.
No, okay.
I'm now at the middle of the fighting fit
You're still a teenager.
Ja, ons gaan nog
Daar's 'n bietjie wysheid daar. Daar's my wysheid daar. 54. You've straddled the divides, man. You've straddled the apartheid divide. You've straddled the internet divide.
Yeah.
You sent telegrams.
Yes.
You were alive when there was only radio.
Yes, and we could get milk on our front porch without our stoop being stolen.
Yeah.
That's my
The
era.
milk you brought us milk, and at times even
Orange juice
and orange juice.
I'm from Generation X. Hulle is so bang vir ons. They don't want to give us a number.
Generation X.
Generation
What a
X.
special generation.
You know what's the difference? We don't have to tell you on WhatsApp. We're going to move you. We come to you. That was my generation. Sorry.
Ja, nou, I was
Kijk, moer komt van koffie, hè?
Ons het gepraat en pange geslaat met onze denken.
Yeah, we didn't threaten.
We weren't good with the fist. Man.
No.
We weren't good for the fist. But I don't want to drill down into UIM politics. I want to just imagine I've got a magic wand, and I'm not going to make it a difficult question.
Yeah.
Magic wand.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you for 10 things. I'm not going to ask you for 5 things. I'm going to ask you for 3 things to change in the country. Wave the magic wand. Tell us.
5 points, 5 C's. That's it. If we implement the 5C strategy, we won't fix everything, but we'll get it right. So firstly, I'm a person of religion. I believe faith. I'm a faithful man in my
It's
God.
also a strong political tool.
It's a political tool, but you know, Christ was before politics and will remain after.
We also have a very diverse religious community.
Absolutely. So we respect the Jewish faith. We look at our people from the Islamic faith, the Christian faith, but faith and religion, Clarence, must come back. It's the foothold of our society. Secondly, we need to defend this constitution. That's the second C. We cannot allow the judiciary to fall, and it is.
Oh, it's your wand now.
It is it. Thirdly, crime.
We're going to keep the
Sure.
constitution as
Sure.
is.
We are going to keep the constitution, but we will have a review because it's time. It's a 30-year lapse, 3 decades. We need to review
We'll
this
review
constitution.
it honestly.
We will.
Okay.
And we have to start fundamentally understanding what human rights.
Yeah.
Because to one is a right, to the other one is humanity.
Yeah.
The third C is crime. Zero tolerance.
Yeah.
There's just no tolerance on
There's
crime.
no taal wat jy kan
This
praat.
is zero tolerance. As jy staan in PP teen 'n wyf, it's time that you get lashed. If you can't sort out the small thing, how will you sort out the big thing.
Jy moet eers die toilet insit, né?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
No,
so,
no.
as ek verby die toilet
Sure.
loop.
Yesterday, in the middle of the city, 9 o'clock in the morning, there's a man standing at the Cape Town Castle and in public weeing in the moat. This is where we are. 5 meters away from a mobile toilet. It's not about that. It's about education and facility and humanity. Fourthly, corruption. A guy said yesterday, you solve corruption by locking up the people at the top, not the bottom. Singapore started locking up ministers, not the people that were the small lackeys. In this country, they seem untouchable. We are coming. They will be touchable. And lastly, capital. The capital must start reaching the people where it must be. Do we have enough capital, Clarence?
Are you saying an inclusive economy? We've lagged on that part.
Yes. We don't do South Africa first. We kind of import chickens from Brazil, stuff them with water. We say, that's great. What a lot of rubbish. They charge you for the rubbish. We must build our own economy. Cape Town produced the best clothing in the world. We have the best factories. What are we doing now? China. What a lot of rubbish. We must become proud South Africa. I'll say the following.
But our industry wasn't competitive.
Sure.
Must
Because
invest.
we don't make it competitive. We're a communist regime. You know it. I know it.
Yo?
We are still communists. The people that run the ANC are communists. They are not people that understand capital. It's not their fault.
Maar jy was dan daar. Jy was
Yeah, it was.
You were charterist.
Of
You were
course.
part of the
Yes.
ANC. Wat het gebeur?
You know, when you take a restaurant, you've got a menu. It doesn't mean you like everything on the menu, but you like the restaurant. So plain and simply, when I joined the People's Revolution, it was one thing and one thing only. Dignity. Dignity and right. 30 years later, this organization that was so much filled with hope has become the hyena eating the carcass. And I'm telling you now, it needs to end. It's not my ANC. It's not Mandela's dream.
Let's talk about corruption quickly, and then we're going to talk about Moonshot Pack, because you cited the Singaporean example, and I want to put it to you that corruption has been part of politics for all of our history,
Yeah.
at least since colonialism really took root.
Sure.
I'm going to put it to you that Southeast Asia, they have a more pragmatic approach, that they actually budget it in at about 10%. They understand corruption is a reality, but the bridge will be built.
Sure.
Corruption is not going to
Absolutely.
make, so you're going to look at it a little more pragmatically, but hard. Because I don't think we can wish it away. I don't think that wand that you have is going to necessarily make it go.
When you get men and you get money, you get absolutely sin.
Yes.
This is just how it is.
Yes.
What we must do is
Get more
remove
women.
all women. Sorry.
Oh,
Did you right?
okay. I thought maybe you said women are the solution. When you get mad
And I
and
must
money.
quickly tell you, I am not part of the woke society. I may be a conservative. I call myself a neoconservative,
What is that?
which means that I've got conservative values. My values are very much based on manners and respect, but I have a mind that can think laterally. I don't need to be a person that is extreme to understand that you bloody get up when an old man walks in, you open the door for a lady, and you say thank you and please for what you get.
Yeah.
This is values. Conservative in a political realm is totally different.
Yeah.
But I am old school. I am still old school, sorry. My sons say thank you and please, and they have manners. I think we should
So
go
ken
back
jou
there.
plek, man.
Yeah, ken jou plek.
Man,
You know?
ken jou plek.
Yeah, man, vrou, you know, there's man and woman, and everybody else is throwing everything in between. But at the end of the day, when we look at a human being, we should look at the soul, not the color of the skin or the ideology. The soul matters to me. This country has lost its soul. We have a beautiful country, Clarence. We just have bad management.
Wat je stance in Dagga?
You know, it grew wildly. It was a herb that was found before we even had brain. So at the end of the day, I think if we manage processes, the problem
You
is
say it's a herb
they
that
don't
gave
get
us
it.
brain.
Well, certain people it gave more than what we think. But you know, we mustn't sweat, can I call it, the small things, Clarence. It's time we look at the important matters.
No, I get you. So this message reads, "Hi Neil, what's your stance on Dagga? I only asked this as I had a chat with you pre-local elections, and your words to me was you have no issues with it. 2 months later, I voted for you, and then I started seeing you catching weed dealers with less than 10 grams. I understand you are a godly man, and it's a herb. You know who this is."
I don't think it's about the herb. I think it is about the interpretation of law. And in my opinion, this country's law on cannabis is absolutely absurd. They don't know how to do it. So you can't make a law, ask police officers to enforce it, and then at the end of the day, justice doesn't follow. So that's my opinion. We need to sort it out.
Somebody writes, "The problem with our corruption is that it's not 10%, it's 90%. Exactly. So the Southeast Asian example
Sure.
that you've given, Neil, anticipates corruption.
It does, but
Daar's 'n vark in die verhaal,
ja, ja,
man.
ja, maar daar's 'n vark.
Ja.
And the problem you've
Maar
got...
hy vark gaan nie
Sorry, gaan nie weggaan.
ja, en die brug gaan gebou wees.
Ja, ja. Our problem is that corruption has become systemic.
Ja.
You know,
So
usually...
daar's 'n vark in die verhaal.
Daar's 'n vark in die verhaal. So our problem is our people now want something that is totally different. Usebenza nomhlanje. Ufuna imali. Sifuna konke. They want something today. And what is it? They don't want to stay in Islam anymore. They want education. And we can fix it. In my policy, I said tertiary education gets earned. But primary and secondary education in this country must be free. It must be free. And it must become a law. So someone said, how will you afford it?
Amy says she completely agrees.
Yes, can I tell you how we afford it? I'll tell you how we afford it. Stop stealing. Just stop stealing. Then we've got the budget. And then, unomslanje, ugonsa, there will come freedom to the masses.
Somebody says, "Your 2 kids are amazing. They are my neighbors."
There you have it.
He says, "Upbringing or what?"
It's manners, it's legacy, it's care. Did you hear that word, Clarence? Care. Wow.
Omgee.
Omgee my. And you know, in the Quran, I'm a Christian, but in the Holy Quran it says, if every neighbor looked after their neighbor, no one would need looking after.
It's not like that. In every religion, in fact, that it's about
Sure.
treat your neighbor the way you
Do
want
unto
to be treated.
others as done unto yourself.
Now it is do unto others before they do unto you.
Yeah, 3 keer.
Neil, you mentioned capitalism. No, you mentioned communism earlier, and the isms. And I think the isms we can debate, we can talk about. It had a context, a historical context.
Sure.
I don't think any of the isms, including communism and including capitalism, in the way we understand it today, is applicable to our future. We are in an era where we must recreate the isms, and they must be pertinent to our times.
Yes.
So you are talking to issues in terms of your 5 statements.
Yes.
Is there more than issues that you represent as the United Independent Movement?
I think we need to rehaul, as you say, the ex-isms and nisms to a practical South Africa today. Clarence, can I tell you what is the biggest problem that our country faces today? It's a lack of leadership, fundamental leadership.
What is leadership?
And leadership is shredded and enshrined in the basis of to be with your people, to listen to your people, to protect your people, to execute what is fundamentally care of your people, but to get up and not make popular decisions, but make the right decision. And currently we have a leader. I am very sorry. I know him for a long time. I always say leadership also includes one thing: a very strong backbone, a ruggraat, nie 'n doktersgraad. And until we don't have a president that gets up and takes decisive decisions, how must you lead a country?
Neil, you are teaming up with the DA in the Moonshot Pact.
Indeed, and
So-
5 others.
A lot of people say that the DA kind of wields power in these kind of conversations. They do not want to be perceived as equal. What is your perspective of them?
I must tell you, I've never had that problem. It's probably because I'm me.
Yeah.
I have never had that problem with John Steenhuisen. I've never had that problem in discussions with Piet Groenewald. I find this is the problem. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Any organization, like me and you said now, That's a vark. That's a vark in die verhaal. The bigger your organization, the bigger the pig. So plain and simply, meer varke. So the DA, with respect, is going to go through the same evolutionary process. They're going to grow, they might get power, and then they get pigs. So plain and simply, it's humanity.
Yeah.
But can I say something? When we started the Moonshot Pact, we were one of the first parties to say yes. Not because of the DA, but because of hope. We've got to be practical. You will go for numbers, and I'm going to give you a revelation today, Ken.
Please.
The ANC doesn't practice politics in election time. They practice logistics. Can I say that again?
Okay.
An election is not about politics.
Is this about the deployment?
It's
of
about
statewide
logistics. Dis hoender terry, dis kippies and t-shirts and dis karre. You need to move 10 million people. Now, if you have the money, the power, and the influence, you can move 10 million. This is what it's about.
What worries me about this Moonshot Pact, and I spoke to Corne Mulder yesterday about it, was that...
What a man. What a man.
Yeah, I think
What
there's a pragmatist there.
what a
Clear
statesman.
mind.
Statesman.
Yeah, he doesn't strike me as a politician.
No, he's a statesman. There's a difference. There's a big difference
Teachers.
between a politician and a statesman. A statesman was people like Madiba, people like Winston Churchill, call them what you
Beyond
want.
the issues.
They were beyond it. They saw the vision and they did what they needed to do. Today we need a
So
statesman.
he's been nearly a gift to us through
Yes.
this transition.
I love him very much and I respect him.
Yeah, no, he oozes that.
Yes.
He absolutely oozes that.
You know, there's just people that when they walk into a room and you don't see them, you know they're there. You just feel
But
it.
I wanted to ask you, now all of you guys in the Moonshot Pact, I'm surprised the ACDC, what's that? No, that's a band.
ICDP, that's a band,
Sorry.
nearly close, but one believes
I'm
in heavy
surprised
metal and the
ACDC
other
is
one.
there. Okay, I'm surprised they're not there. Why aren't they there?
Yeah, they came in as observers. I think one part of the ACDP wants to, and the other part is hesitant.
Is dat goed wat gebeur?
I don't know, but what I do know is, at this current moment, Christians mustn't sit on a wall. They must draw lines. My opinion, at the end of the day, this is about light and dark.
Yeah, but, you know,
They've got to take a decision.
I'm trying to understand the future.
And they're not out.
Given the past, I mean, you were cannibalizing the same constituency.
Sure.
And this
Absolutely.
common enemy that you're now perceiving
Yes.
was operating, you know, without anybody really making kind of inroads into its constituency.
Well, that
So
was...
how do you move from cannibalizing the same constituency into a collective effort? If
Well,
you're
I'd like to
fighting
start
on-
there. I must quickly tell you that the South African society is tired of being cannibalized by everybody. I think our people in this country, Clarence, are traumatized. We are traumatized. And the problem is that the leadership of this country cannot move us from a position where we are to a better position. There's no discussion here. The Moonshot Pact, in my opinion, is there to do one thing, and that is to replace a current government that was great in liberation, but cannot run a government.
So
That's
the,
it.
the pot shots of the past that we have seen from your political party versus others in this pact, and from them to you, is a thing of the past. You're going to find a collective voice.
We have to.
Okay.
You know, Madiba always used to say, don't look at the differences between you and me. Find the things we agree on and build a relationship on that.
Okay, now let's talk about because you come from a progressive past.
Sure.
You sound like well, you said you were neoconservative now. That's difficult to reconcile.
Yes.
But that's not the question. I think the question is more about a progressive base that is increasingly finding itself without a home. The very charterists that you were a part of are saying, hold on a second, our principles do not allow us to associate any further with the kind of politics that we are seeing from the governing party and from politics in general. That we need. The problem isn't even the governing party. The problem is the nature of our politics.
I have a good cliche. Talking about a horse, looking at a horse, and riding a bloody horse is different. We can talk a lot about freedom, liberty, and human rights, but go do it. Ooh, we have a problem. In the city, we have a problem. In the city, we talk about the tale of two cities. It's nice on the other side. You know, they call the Cape Town the mother city. And the reason was because it takes 9 months to take any decision in the city. What we've done is we've changed that attitude. Until the people, Clarence, we can't even get our people back to District 6. You know, the fundamental point of view of this country is we have 10 months to take a moonshot back, to stand together, to for once understand that leadership is not about just taking decisions. It is about confirming and bending the knee, and that we can't get right at times. This moonshot pact has hope because of only one thing. Can I tell you what it is? Can I tell you why I'm in? Because you notice I'm totally different than these others. I didn't make politics a career. Politics is not my destiny. Politics is my service today. So here's it. I'm in this because there are 17 million people in this country that could vote, but that doesn't. And we have 10 months to tell that group of people that if you stand together, we can change the trajectory of Mzansi. But we can only do it together.
I'm going to suggest that you can't do it as political parties in a
No.
pact. You need more than the current political parties, and even if you get all of them there,
Yes.
you're not going to do it on your own as political party, because South Africa has lost trust and faith in politics in general. So you need more than that. You need civil society on your
Absolutely.
side. How are you going to get that?
Corne said it.
Well, he said the UDF yesterday.
Well, I think you got shocked. I nearly fell off the chair because I didn't think that ideology
you were
is.
listening?
I am. I always listen. I'm an ex-spy. So, so I don't know if you get an ex-spy.
So you listen to a lot of radio
It's like
stations
saying to a person that if you own the butchery and you leave and you sell the butchery, you stop eating meat. Like a lot of rubbish. So from my point of view, Corne Mulder said it. The UDF, the days that we had a guy like Alan Busak standing on the back of a Cortina bakkie, screaming and saying to Archbishop Tutu, let us do one thing. Simunye, we've got to get together. If civil society does not unite behind us, we will be lost. And Clarence, I'm telling you now, I'm not a visionary. Otherwise, I would tell you 17, 10, 8, 19, and 4. That's the lotto balls for Friday. I don't know it,
17, 8, 10, 19, and 4.
but all I'm telling you
17,
now,
8, 19,
17, 8, 19, 22. Here's the thing. Is he call? Here's the call. If we have another 5 years of what we have today, we will have nothing. We have 94 where we voted to change a country. 2024, Clarence.
So you say civil
We are
society is
voting to
between
save a
rock and
country.
hard place.
Yes, they must make a call.
Pragmatic choices is the need. That's what
Yes,
you're saying, right?
but country first.
By all of society, governed by the
Yes.
principle of SA first.
SA first.
It is 11:30. We're going to come back to you if you still have time for us.
I have so much time for you.
Okay, so we'll continue our conversation with Neil de Beer. He's the president of the United Independent Movement of South Africa. They're joining the Moonshot Pact, and we're going to find out more from his mind after Graham Robenheimer shares with us the latest news headlines.
Thanks so much, Clarence. In your latest news and traffic this hour, Parliament arson accused Zandile Mafe is in an outburst in court, saying that he wants a life prison sentence. The 51-year-old's made another appearance in the Western Cape High Court this morning. He made this outburst earlier. Mafe stands accused of allegedly starting that fire that gutted Parliament's National Assembly chamber, torching sections of the old Assembly building in January last year, and the case has now been postponed until the 10th of August. Our reporter Kevin Brandt will bring us details on this developing case during the course of today. Meanwhile, staying with the courts, the highest court in the land has now overturned a High Court ruling that declared Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhobane's suspension invalid, therefore now making it valid. Eastern Cape Police said have made a breakthrough in their investigations into a mass murder in KwaNobuhle. 5 suspects are now in handcuffs after 6 people were gunned down on Tuesday night. Moving abroad, British TV viewers are now shocked that the identity has been revealed of a prominent news presenter at the centre of the scandal that's rocked the BBC. It's been confirmed now that Hugh Edwards is the presenter who's accused of paying thousands of rand to a young person now at the age of 20 over a number of years for explicit photographs. Find out more, get details with these and other stories at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Latest traffic this hour, N1 outbound before Kuburg interchange. There's a stationary vehicle, the left lane's obstructed. Congestion on the N1 inbound at the ramp to Lower Church, expect delays there. If you're still coming into the city on the elevated freeway, allow for some extra travel time as traffic is still backed up at this course of the morning. Roadworks on the N1 outbound, that's after the viaduct, the left lane's closed, no delays though. And on the N1 outbound after Joostenburg Vlakte, the right lane is closed, expect delays there this morning. If we've missed anything, you can drop us a WhatsApp at 072-567-1567. You can tweet us at EWN Traffic. That's a wrap of your morning news and traffic. My name's Graham Romana.
Views and News with Clarence Ford.
Share your perspective.
Welcome back, 11:33 Views and News through to the top of the hour. And I don't know if it's because of your presence here, Neil, but I see Advocate Kenneth Mishu has confirmed that he's going to be talking with us tomorrow. What must I ask him?
It's divine intervention.
What must I ask him? What's an important question?
Just one question.
Yeah.
Are they willing to put everything behind them and join a movement to save the country?
I'll say that you've asked
I
me,
am asking.
and you gave me that stern
Because
look.
I have
If
respect
don't
for it.
answer, then you may just
Yeah,
ignore me. So
yeah.
Okay. And then I see Bantu Lamisa from the UDM is confirmed for sometime next week. What
What a general. What a general. Ask him one thing. Does he remember why we did what we did? And is he willing to do it again?
Let me just tell you, and I'm speaking very frankly, and Helen Ziller's probably going to clap me because I'm saying it, but I think she's an astute politician.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a compliment, but
Yes.
Bantu Lamisa strikes me as an astute.
Yes, he is.
So glibberig.
Yes, he is. Well, he's got a conformed ideology. He comes from a military junta. This man was at one stage a bastion of the ANC. And I think a lot of people were disappointed. We've had a lot of disappointments. But you know what I wrote the other day in the paper? I said, I wish South Africa had a World Cup every day. Because it looks like the only time that we decide to unite is at a World Cup. And then 2 days later, we swear at each other and we clamor over taxis. I wish that we could unite like that every day. We can, Clarence. Every day we have a small World Cup. But the racial divide in this country is now being led by people whom it benefits. And here's the thing. In the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, we never got to the R, Clarence. We only got to the truth. We never reconciled in this country.
Okay, I need to understand that the racial division is now, just repeat what you
The
just
racial division in this country
said. Is fueled by those who
is
benefit.
fueled by those whom it benefits.
What does that mean?
So in other words, if you look at the EFF narrative, I know that man. I call him Frikkie Malema. Okay, Julius, I know him. He's no idiot. He's no fool.
He's a very
No.
astute,
He's a very astute man. But he uses the framework of interracial politics because he gets votes from it. Let's call it straight. This is his narrative. This is his junta.
Is it then?
And that's wrong. It's wrong. It's fundamentally
But
wrong.
is he representing views and emotions on this particular topic? If he is,
Yes.
then it's legitimate. You got to look at it.
Well, the legitimacy, someone said to me the other day, Julius, is be careful that you don't get so cross about the person who's saying it and you forget his message.
Yeah.
Because we get so cross with the narrative.
Yes.
We forget that certain of the things that are said make sense.
But why are people so scared of Julius? I think he likes the finer things. I think.
I don't think we're scared of
I
him.
think he has a price.
I don't think we're scared of him. I just think we irritate. Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, Mr. Price. All I'm saying is, I wonder, I always laugh, when they march and they say they want economic freedom because they want the textile industry to grow, but when you look at the overall, it's made in China. So at the end of the day, we also have to look at the pre-narrative, but a person like Julius has absolutely a space in the realm of the South African political narrative. That's why he gets 10%.
Yeah.
And what we need to look at, Clarence, we need to look at the things that unite you and I. And you know what that is? That is that we are so hard-asked in this country that not even load shedding is worrying us anymore. Ons put die gas uit. Die Weber. We go on with life. And here's the mistake we made. We thought we are being led. We are not being led. We are being misled. And whilst that narrative plays, I'm going to tell you now why I love the Moonshot Pact. It reminds me of the Allied forces. In the Second World War, Churchill was the first one to say that the analogy and the analogy of Hitler is evil. No one joined until that became true. Now, who was in that alliance, Clarence? Russia, Stalin. Do you think that Britain and Russia at that stage were compatible?
And America was
Sure.
absent.
But at the end of the day, they had to unite. They had to unite.
I hear you. So let's talk about this divide and rule kind of identity politics that continues to play out in this country. 300 odd years since Van Riebeeck landed. Continues in the past 29 years. Why is it? Why?
I'll tell you why. Our national slogan says it. Tri, Kara, Treka. And if we listen to what that means, it means unity in diversity. We are a diverse society in this country.
I accept that.
And we
that's
are
beautiful.
battling. Of course, it's a beautiful analogy. But are we living Tri, Kara, Treka? The problem we've got is that there is so many different divisions that at the end of the day, we needed a system, Clarence, that could manage it. If you ask me what is my favorable political system, it is federalism. I agree on the DA policy of federalism because a federal system will allow in a big way the management and the governance of that diversity.
And the cultural nuances that are dominant to come
Sure.
through. And I think that's
Sure,
beautiful.
why are you fighting it? I mean, I always say to the Khoi, the Griqua, the San, why are you fighting? It's your land. Your problem is, you're not uniting. Almal wil 'n baas wees. And until
So
we
you're saying
don't
federalism has
sure,
its challenge as well.
it has its challenges. Any system in the world has a challenge. But there's one thing you and I know, conscience. We know what is good and we know what is bad.
Let's talk about, because you've really conceded on an important point. I'm chatting with Neil de Beer, the United Independent Movement of South Africa, if all the political parties in the whole wide world come in, including the ANC.
Sure, we mustn't forget them.
Let's say they all join the Moonshot Pact.
Yes.
You still got that 17 million people that haven't voted.
Yes.
And I think a big proportion of that would represent the disaffected people, the people that don't have a home, and the apathetic people.
Yes.
So you need the civil society that you were talking about. Now, I want to understand structurally how that fits into such a pact, because you've got political parties that will share the spoils, I guess. Hopefully it's not going to be knives in backs, the outcome of that kind of story. But how do the civil society fit in post an election in 2024?
I think civil society needs to be the conscience. Can I use that word? I don't know if there's anything left like that. Conscience.
Yeah.
What is conscience, Clarence? Conscience is you knew you did wrong and you are reminded about it the next day, umpteen times. It's your conscience. This country is suppressing its conscience. It's suppressing it. You know, we want to arrest Putin, but we can't arrest anybody on the Zondo list.
So you're saying you want an endorsement from civil society, and they must continue to play the role that they play. That's what you're saying.
No. I want them to play the role they should play, but more harsh. Can I call it that? Accountability. That's why I wrote to Cyril and I said, Cyril, with respect, you are not responsible for ESCOM, but you are accountable as the president. There's a big difference. Responsible and
civil
accountable.
society also maybe second some activists to, the pact
Yes. Yes. And that's the truth.
to fulfill a political.
And I'll tell you, I'm sitting in there. I'm not outside. Ek is by die braai. I can actually tell you the chops are burning. I'm at that braai, by die braai, ne? I'm there because I want to have an input about what the freedom looks like for the future. When they say the DA is dominating, listen to me, utter rubbish. Rubbish. John, in the first statement of the Moonshot Pact, said, we started it, but you've got to own it. So anybody that comes now with this big brother story, you're not in a meeting. I'm telling you that.
And I'm still trying to understand how Moonshot Pact then
Yes.
differs from ANC, which is also a broad church.
Yes. I'll tell you what the difference is. Of course, brother.
I prefer it that way.
If you can't fix it, you can't fix it. If you can't come up with the soluble ideas to plan a country's future where everybody gets something new, but everybody gets something good, surrender, clans. If this country was a PTY Limited, I would fire this board 10 times over. Let's be practical. This country is a company. And they are
So you
failing.
say that Moonshot Pact is expertise. Is that what you're
It's
saying?
absolutely expertise. It's absolutely expertise. If you look at where we are today, if you look at the people trying to manage crime, Becky Tafeltjie Stoeltjie Cele is doing absolutely nothing for me. This person is not an expert. I have nothing against the human being. But you know what they said? Give me a guitar. It's a piece of wood with strings. But give it to a guy that can play the guitar. You get symphony.
Okay, so you're saying we're gonna manage this country effectively.
We're going to put people in the seats that can manage the position.
Okay. Now again, we've had an ANC with great policies.
Yes.
So you're going to take those policies and just implement it differently.
Well, we're going to implement them. This country has enough law. We just don't implement law.
Okay, so the policies are in place.
They are in place. They are absolutely. And what I love about this ideology about the moonshot is that for the future of this country, coalitions are the future, like it or not. Coalitions are new. We are new to it because remember, we come from a one-party ideology, clans. There's going to be a lot of give and take. There's going to be a lot of animosity. There's going to be a lot of, as you said, sticking in the back. But what we've got to decide today is the man on the street is demanding change. And whatever that change is, it is up to us to bring it now.
Like you made the point, the man on the street is demanding nothing because 17 million are not part of the
Sure.
process.
Sure. Well, they're still demanding. They've just not found a vehicle that can supply that demand.
Yeah, let's hope that is the case. We're going to come back to our conversation. You still have some time for us, don't you?
Absolutely.
So we're going to continue our conversation with United Independent Movement of South Africa, Mr. Neil De Beer. The Moonshot Pact, the UIM, is part of that Moonshot Pact, getting a sense of what values they're going to be bringing to the party. Still looking for your messages. There's a couple in. We'll play catch up on that front as well right after these.
Jane Makwala King
On Cape Talk.
every weekend morning.
Coming up on Weekend Breakfast, with less than a month to go until Cape Town plays host to
You
the
just,
2023
master,
Netball
eh?
World Cup.
I'm excited,
Winning
man.
Master piano player.
ensuring
You know, I had
team
cancer.
in winning
Wow.
spirit.
I nearly
Team
died last year.
captain Bondi
I was
Sonic
5 months in
Chambers
hospital.
and Gail
I know
Evans
death.
gives us the lowdown
I
on
have it
the
again.
second
And what's
installment
the
in
prognosis?
Indiana
No, I have it
Jones
again.
series. Indiana
But can I
Jones
tell you what I love?
of Destiny. Join me,
Even
Sarah
in
Jane
the last,
Makwala King, for Weekend
I am
Breakfast.
willing to fight for my country.
So what's your prognosis now?
Makwala King.
You know, it's that.
And Sunday,
But
7 to 10
we do
a.m.
keep up.
Only on Cape Talk.
Join the
I love
conversation.
my country.
When selling your
I'm
valuables,
in
you want
love
the
with my
best
country.
possible price.
No, I
With
just became a
extensive
grand.
experience, gold and
You wanna
finance
touch on that?
guarantees you will
Yeah,
be
sure,
impressed with
sure.
our highly
And here's the
regarded
thing.
jewelry specialists,
Martin Luther King said
professional
it.
service, and best
He
price
said we'll
offer.
get to the
You
point.
will receive
I
instant
might
payment
not
when
beat
selling
it
your jewelry,
with-
antique jewelry, luxury
get
watches,
it. We will
diamonds,
get it.
Kruger Rands, gold medallions, and
We owe it
gold
to our
coins.
kids.
Gold and Finance has
That's what it
branches
says.
countrywide and is
And
South
you
Africa's
really
trusted
think
jewelry
the
buyer since
Moonshot
1992.
Pact,
Visit
yeah,
one of
again,
our
you're saying
Gold
it's
and
not
Finance
about
branches or log
left
on
to
to
right, and in any event, that's
goldtrade.co.za.
completely blurred these
It's
days.
not right and wrong.
At Cape Talk, we
I
love
mean,
to
Clarence,
talk
look how
the
we're burning
talk.
trucks.
And when it
I
comes
got
to
the video this
protecting
morning.
you, we're committed
20
to
past 5.
ensuring
They
that
took a
we walk
cabin
the
view
walk too.
of a guy
That's
doing
why
it.
Cape Talk adheres to the
This is no
Broadcasting
conscience.
Complaints Commission Code of
Don't you have like
Conduct.
face identification stuff?
Yeah, but the problem is we're not using it, so we don't have a database. I mean,
But I mean, surely.
this is, we don't have
Don't they
finger,
take our pictures
we don't have
over there?
fingerprint power. I mean, we don't have powder to take fingerprints. Normal.
Their postal address is PO Box 412
Hey, and
Verstaan jy?
yeah, yeah.
2024. For more
Hey.
info, visit
Chief.
ccsa.co.za.
Ja, usuki sero. Ungwana. Hey, but Andy Langella say hamba yo.
Standing in for Mandy Wina. You've referred to what's happening.
You know,
It's annoying.
we had hope for this guy. We actually did.
We had.
Yeah.
The entire nation.
We had hope for this guy. Like the first 5 years of Zuma. We had hope. But then they turned. And you know what's the presidency? I've served in presidency. Do you know what happens? It's the people around them.
With Mandy
People may surround themselves
Tyd
with
rand. Men jou met die semels.
a 55 KO.
Join the conversation.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
Join the conversation.
Join the conversation.
You're with Cape Talk.
Some quick fire questions. Neil De Beer, my guest, is the president of the United Independent Movement of South Africa, and he's in the studio. We're talking about the Moonshot Pact. They part of the pact, and you're going into a session. What you calling it?
It's our convention, the
convention.
16th and 17th of August.
So this is talks about talks.
Hopefully not. This is
So
not
there's
talks of action.
Formalization.
Every Thursday, for the past 3 months, all the leaders meet on a Zoom.
Oh,
Every Thursday. So we are ironing out the pathway. CODESA was the same. We didn't get to CODESA and chat about chat. We had decisions, we had discussions,
but you never had Zoom.
and we had,
How did you
yeah,
do that?
exactly, we had to sit around the young So, yeah, it's different now, you know. But, you know, there's one thing I want to tell you, Clarence. We don't have time anymore.
You say that all the time, and I agree. I think more people are getting poor, more people are not being fed in this country, so we don't have time. We absolutely don't have time. Some quick fire questions, I'm sure the listener. It is Sharon says, who's going to be the president?
That will be decided after the coalition. Every party will independently still fight. I want to make that clear. The Moonshot Pact is not parties that are going to amalgamate into one. It is still separate parties fighting their line, but agreeing on some substantive issues.
Yeah.
And you can only form a coalition government, Clarence, after an election.
Yeah.
That's it.
Can I maybe assume also that that somebody from civil society could be president
Absolutely.
on a poster representing the Moonshot Pact?
Yeah, someone said to me, Neil, you're running for president. I said, absolutely. He said, but you can't become president. I said, that's not the point. The fact that my poster will be on a pole outside Cyril's house, and he has to drive in the morning and leave in the afternoon and see my face, knowing I'm coming to Parliament, should be good enough. But, jokes aside, every one of us have a constituency. Everyone, Clarence, otherwise I would not have been the founder of the UIN. I would have joined another party. But you said it, and I'll say it again. Jy weet wat's reg, en jy weet wat's verkeerd.
That's interesting. You say it's not about left and right.
No, it's not. It's no more about your leftist ideology and right. This country doesn't have time to decide if you're left or right. This country now needs to know if you are right or wrong.
Yeah, I guess so. And left and right is a complete blur these days.
Oh, sure. Some people don't know their left from their right.
Okay, another quick fire question. Good day. Please tell me where there's no crime in this despicable country run by criminals, for criminals, wherever there's a concentration. No, I don't want to.
No, because you use the word despicable country.
Yeah.
It's not a despicable country. It's a despicable management.
Wat gaan ons aan met hulle doen?
Ons moet hulle moer, man. Luister gou, listen. This is the thing about me. People say to me,
Maar dis genoeg
nee. I get 900 reasons in the morning, Clarence, why I don't want to get out of bed. Give me 3 reasons why I must. Can I give you the 3?
Yeah.
My God gave me another day because I nearly lost it. I've got a grandchild. I'm a weak opa. Ugog. And number 3, I am in a passionate love affair with my country. That's
I
it.
can feel that. I can absolutely feel that. Another
Sorry,
quick fire.
and you must talk like you talk at a bride. What's this thing about a politician filtering his words and standing and doing speeches? Sagat man, listen, what you say to your friends, say it to the world. A guy told me the other day, switch off all the recording devices. We are going to talk in private. I said, that's going to be interesting. How do you switch off God's recording device? No. Which means it's a long road to freedom. We are tired. Let's get to freedom, Clarence. Let's clean up. Let's put the systems in place. And let's give the people what they deserve.
Neil, somebody just taken away my piece there. Let me just go find it. Right, it is. Where is it? Did it take it away? I want to agree. We do a lot of talking and very little do anything I need to see results. Cut back on the talking, also the longevity of these results. Or will they die a quiet death after 6 months? Have a great day. Israel, again, doesn't have that faith in the politicians. Praat for elections, and then lekker salary,
houses,
yeah.
everything. And then you know what happens. Can I quickly tell you? People call you a small party, Clarence. They say, but what does the UIM? You're so small. Can I remind you that the smallest piece on a tanker ship is a rudder? And without a rudder, this ship goes nowhere. Klein plankie, né? So at the end of the day, Neil de Beer, Fatima Abdul, the only political party in this country that has a woman as a vice president. Weird, isn't it? Now let me tell you what's our philosophy. We don't count the woman in our party. We make the woman count in our party. Because at the end of the day, men want to go to war, women want tea. They might think twice about mooring people. Ek en jy's deur die deur. So all I'm saying is, we've got to get to a society where the word Ubuntu, the word Umasakane, is not just words, but it is actual fact.
No, sure. Neil, it can also be argued, Jade Ali Sechut, you have this charismatic presence.
Sure.
Without you, the United Independent movement, what is it?
Sure. We are just bigger than Neil de Beer.
I don't think so.
A person that builds an organization around one man builds a society organization.
And a succession plan?
We have a very clear succession plan. But here's the thing.
Are people buying into the
Yes, they are.
values?
Oh, we went from 6,000 people to 60,000. We got metro seats in 3 seats. In Joburg, in eThekwini, and Cape Town.
And who's voting for you, Neil?
It's the people that are three based. One, people that did lose hope and want a leader that stands up. Someone said to me yesterday, are you the Donald Trump of South Africa? I said, maybe in word, but maybe just a bit more etiquette and style. Maar as ek vir jou sê, gaan jou moer, hoor my mooi. I'm coming Tuesday. I'm bringing hell with me. Can I tell you what? People need leadership. I'm just different. And I might be small constituency. But I'll tell you one thing. I will not give up on this country. My taal, my land, my culture, my land is in my heart. I nearly died for this country once. I am willing to do so again. But for everybody, to see a better future.
So you're a patriot.
Oh, I'm a huge patriot. And I've lived both sides. I grew up in Hungtak. My name is Uskan Sons, Usanetemba, Ufaku, Utasha, who knows? I was given that name by the king. So I'm a ruralist. I'm a traditionalist. I know where we come from. Black and white in this country have one thing in common. We love our country and we just want the best for our future. We need to bring hope back. But Mao Zedong said, hope is not a strategy. So instead of just talking about strategy, we must start implementing that strategy.
Martin Luther King, you quoted him a little earlier, but the mic wasn't on. You were quoting Mao Zedong. Maybe you want to say what...
I had cancer last year.
Yeah.
They called it terminal. 96 days in ICU, 5 months in hospital. And I came out of there understanding that Martin Luther King said, we'll go to the promised land. And then he said, I might not get there with you, but we will get to the promised land. The child in Delft, the child in Manenberg, the child in Kaili, Chakaya, Mandi, and Langa. What is the dream that that child has today? You cannot sell a dream to a child that is currently at domestic war in gangsterism and tell him that he must dream of a future. There are children in Khayelitsha that's never seen the waterfront. Now, how do you take that child and tell him, dream a dream? Until we don't get the basics right, until we don't build a country with a solid platform like we should have, we will not have a house. Ayiko Kaya.
And you're saying, Aika Ikaya, if we don't make a choice, and there's not left or right, it's between right and wrong.
That's it.
And be guided by your conscience.
You must
in a space where there's very little conscience.
And that's why I said social society, you, the media, must be our conscience.
And the people in the pact at this moment in time are committed to that outcome, or is that your vision?
No, no. I would not be part of anything if I don't like it. Then I'd go on my own, fight my battle. But
Neil-
we have found a group.
Neil de Beers made it simple. He says it's between right and wrong. Those are the choices in the elections 2024.
That's it.
Neil, thank you for chatting with us and giving us a sense of what's happening around us. And we have an understanding. We want to watch developments and then, of course, make up our minds. You will allow me to be just a little more cautious in my embrace of this pact.
Yes.
There's been far too many egos in politics, and unfortunately, leaders have not delivered on, not even to their constituencies. They just didn't care about
Can I leave you with a thought?
That's a belief.
A good society is a society where the old men and women of that society plant trees, knowing that they will never sit
In the shade.
under that shade.
Amen. We're going to rest it there. News
Awesome.
at 12 coming your way next.
Let the good times roll
Oh, blue.
on Cape
All
Talk.
this abundance of energy. Oh, that's some